Welcome back. Sirens have been blaring across Israel's largely evacuated northern communities today, while Lebanese media is reporting that the Hezbollah chief Hassan Nasrallah says his organisation will continue to wage war on Israel for at least another year. Against that backdrop, the Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has been visiting troops in the north. Take a listen.
We're visiting here in the north a day after the government passed a decision on an immediate aid program of 3.5 billion shekels for the residents of the north, for the rehabilitation of the settlements and for help. And another 45 days, another 3 billion. And then we will do even more, because we are obligated both on the civilian and military levels to return the residents safely to their communities and homes. This commitment is one of the goals of the war. We're not giving it up.
Well, for more on that, we're joined now by our correspondent Zach Anders, who is up in the north of Israel. And Zach, we heard the Prime Minister there meeting with the troops. I'm wondering if he met with any residents from the north, because there is a sense that they are increasingly restless about this ongoing stalemate with Hezbollah.
Yeah, hello, Laura. From Kiryat Shmona, largely evacuated, just like many of the other communities throughout the Galilee. It's a good question whether or not he is meeting. This is the chief complaint of the residents here in the north. They feel as though the government has not represented them over the course of the conflict. There's been some intense outcry of civilians that we've spoken to here that while there has been some government assistance, temporary relocation, unemployment benefit schemes, things like that, that this lack of a plan, or really lack of a timeline that's being communicated to the residents here, they want to know how they're going to be able to make their own long-term plans, knowing that the education system here has grinded to a halt, that agricultural efforts, that industry has left this area with no plans to return. Jobs are...
Iran's stockpile of near-weapons-grade uranium has increased by more than 20 kilograms since February. That's according to a confidential report by the UN's nuclear watchdog, the IAEA, that was seen by the Associated Press. This amid reports the Biden administration has been trying to block the UK and France from sanctioning Tehran. Our Middle East correspondent, Ariel Osseran, has the story.
Silently, stealthily, and sliding under the radar, Iran continues to inch closer toward a nuclear bomb. In a confidential report by the UN's Atomic Energy Agency on Monday, the IAEA says Iran has further increased its stockpile of uranium enriched to near weapons-grade levels. According to the report, as of May 11th, Iran had just over 142 kilograms of uranium enriched up to 60%, its highest level to date. Iran's overall stockpile of enriched uranium stands at 6,201.3 kilograms, an increase of just under 676 kilograms since the IAEA's last report. That's more than 30 times over the limit set in the 2015 nuclear deal between Iran and world powers. The material could be converted into weapons-grade enriched uranium in a matter of days, and enough to fuel 3 nuclear bombs.
We are aware that on these issues that are very important for international peace and security, there are interests, sometimes conflicting interests, but my role is to look into the actions that we take with Iran, in agreement with Iran, so that we can clarify, dispel any doubts that may exist.
Grossi visited Iran earlier this month, hoping to bolster oversight over Tehran's nuclear activities. But Iran has implemented only a small fraction of the steps it committed to last year, while Tehran says there have been no changes in its doctrine regarding its nuclear program.
It appears that's the case, and regardless of the denials from the administration, the U.S.'s ambassador to the IAEA board meeting after IAEA board meeting has lamented about Iran's lack of cooperation with the IAEA over the outstanding probes. And yet again, we get this report that the United States is hesitant and is trying to persuade its European allies against supporting a censure resolution. And so it's rewarding the very behavior that the United States keeps complaining about. And so the IAEA Director General's trips to Tehran are toothless. There's no force behind the Board of Governors. And so Iran views it as an opportunity to continue to stop.
Israel still believes that normalization is still possible with Saudi Arabia and that it will come without any pledge to create a Palestinian state. Well, yesterday, the Saudi foreign minister reiterated Riyadh's commitment to a Palestinian state. I put that to Israel's former foreign minister and now energy minister, Eli Cohen, about the prospect of ties. Take a listen.
After October 7th, a vast majority in Israel objects to a Palestinian state. They object to it because they fear, first of all, the state of Israel is the nation state of the Jewish people, but they're also concerned for their safety and security. We tried doing it in Gaza, and we saw what we got in return. Instead of having a Gaza that is a country that lives next to us, we got a terror state. I believe that we can achieve a peace treaty with Saudi Arabia without peace with the Palestinians. We've had peace treaties with other countries as well, and it's important to remember what is the Saudis' biggest interest in establishing relationship with Israel is to receive some kind of a defense treaty, defense pact with the U.S. Because what's the main thing they want? They want to receive protection from Iran and from terror organizations just like Hamas.
We have to remember it was one of the reasons that the attack happened on the 7th of October to try and derail Israeli-Palestinian Saudi normalization. Done for now. Thank you. Now, Yemen's Houthis are exploiting Palestinian suffering to further their own cause. That's the view of Yemen's Prime Minister in exile, Ahmed Awad bin Mubarak. Here he is speaking to the Arab Media Forum in Dubai.
The Houthis' exploitation of a very just cause, such as the cause of our people in Palestine and what is happening in Gaza, is to escape peace and lead us into major existing complications. Peace is a strategic choice. We must reach peace. The war must stop. This is a must. Our people need security and stability. The region itself needs stability.
And the Houthis are believed to be behind another attack on a ship in the Red Sea, which, according to its British owners, is in danger of sinking after it was attacked off the coast of Yemen. Let's go to Dubai for more on that. Our correspondent Bastien Bowie is there. Bastien, what do we know about this attack on this ship in the Red Sea?
Well, there's contradictory information on those targeted ships, since we know that in addition to these 3 targets, actually, a 4th was hit by 3 ballistic missiles in the Red Sea, and that this was probably an error of judgment from on the part of the Houthis, since this ship flies the Turkish flag and is not linked to Israel or the U.S. And as we speak, this ship is in distress, as it had begun to lean to one side. And regarding the Israeli ship, this could be a false information, as the boat was reportedly sailing off Morocco and not in the Red Sea. So there's still a lot of gray areas as we speak, Laura.
And Danny Ayalon, I mean, this goes back to what we were talking about before. You know, Israel and Saudi Arabia are on the same page here when it comes to the Houthis. And the Houthis, although they say they want to attack Israel, their actions have actually hurt Egypt more than anyone.
Absolutely. And at the end of the day, they would like actually to take over the entire Yemen territory, you know, against the what used to be the legitimate government.
And they're well on their way there.
Absolutely they are, because again here it's a very soft, inexplicable, failed American strategy. And I would say the most conspicuous thing was maybe it was the time that the watershed was when the Houthis attacked Aramco. You know, the most strategic site in Saudi Arabia, actually or crippling 50% of the Saudi oil production.
Our top story this hour in Israel says that the ammunition that was used to kill 2 Hamas commanders in Rafah yesterday was too small to have ignited the blaze that killed civilians in a nearby refugee camp. The IDF spokesman Daniel Hagari has revealed details of the investigation.
As you can see, in our aerial surveillance from the time of the strike, we targeted a closed structure away from tent area. As you can see, there are no tents in the immediate vicinity of the structure that we targeted. Contrary to reports, we conducted the strike outside the area that we designated as a humanitarian area and called civilians to evacuate to. Our strike was over 1.5 kilometers away from the El Mouassi humanitarian area, what we call the safer zone.